So, for some of us, we find it hard or even impossible to show certain emotions like anger or grief or understand the longing we have for something so much that it hurts. As women, many of us have been taught to push our feelings down and to smile and keep the peace. We're taught to be small and not to want or to feel too much. The emotions we've pushed down don't vanish just because we've hidden them. They sink deep into our bodies and psyches and eventually come out in one way or another, like in our relationships or how we react to situations and others. Over time, especially as we enter midlife and perimenopause, these stuck feelings begin to shape who we are in ways we don't always notice and we might not like. If you don't understand why you're acting or feeling a certain way, writing can help bring things to the surface in an honest, safe, and powerful way. Hi, I'm Diane Hatz, and this is Hearth Writes, a space for grounded, real conversations about writing, creativity, and reclaiming your voice, especially in midlife. Today, I want to talk about something many of us were never taught to do: finding our way through overwhelming emotions like rage, sorrow, and deep longing. This isn't to complain, though there is time and space for that, in my opinion, but this is actually a way to heal. Because when we finally give ourselves permission to write or speak what we were never allowed to say out loud, something shifts and we begin to come back to ourselves. And because writing is often an easier way to get out our truth, we're going to focus on using the written word to help us heal. And who knows, maybe there's a story or even a book in what comes out of your pen. Most of us didn't grow up learning how to express anger, grief, or even desire. We were never taught skills for dealing with conflict. We were told to be good and to take care of others. We were made to silence ourselves and stay small so no one else felt uncomfortable or threatened. Oh, that was so me. Over time, what can happen is that we internalize those messages and we stay quiet when we're hurting and we downplay what we need. Some of us even apologize for wanting anything. Writing is a space where we don't have to follow any of the rules we were told we had to obey. When we write for ourselves and no one is watching, there are no consequences. We can cuss and yell and scream all our words out onto paper. Writing can help us identify the emotions we've buried for probably decades and can be one of the most healing things we ever do. So, to be clear, this is not about writing something polished or publishable. This is about writing something raw and real. You might want to edit it later, but right now you just want to be raw, real, raunchy, just getting it out. You can rip the page with your pen. You just do what you got to do. This is about getting you out on the page. Messy, angry, frustrated, lost, lonely you. It doesn't matter where you are in life or what's happening. Getting out how you're feeling goes a long way to feeling better about yourself and finding a path to where you want to be. Whether it's decades of rage you've kept stuff down, grief that never had space to move through you, or a quiet longing you've been carrying in the background, those feelings are still in you. And they're asking to be heard because if you don't listen, they can literally make you sick. According to PubMed Central, chronic anger can lead to an increased risk of heart disease and even a 34% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Grief can manifest physically, leading to symptoms such as headaches, digestive issues, fatigue, and even immune suppression. Persistent feelings of longing, that empty hole you want to have filled, have been linked to increased depression and anxiety later in life. But writing can help you develop the skills to get stuck emotions out of you. Here are 5 tools that can help you write your truth. First, rage on a page. Pick one emotion like rage, grief, longing, and write about it without stopping for 10 to 15 minutes. Set a timer if that helps. Just get what's inside of you out on the page without editing or filtering yourself. You can write outside the lines. You can cuss your way through it. You could just F-bomb the whole time. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Just feel it as it comes out. I also highly recommend you do this with an actual pen and paper, not your computer. If you want to know about the pen and paper thing, I really believe that the act of holding a pen and putting it to paper and writing, it does something in your brain that's better for you than just the computer. If you want to get some somatic releasing in, which is how one gets rid of trauma, just shake your hands. When you're done, just shake out your hands, your legs, jump up and down, just get it out. So second, write a letter you'll never send. Say what you couldn't say before. You could write a letter to your parents, a former partner, a friend, or even a younger version of you. Don't filter yourself and let the words be as brutal, angry, or as furious as you might feel. You're not sending the letter, you're just writing it out. Now, if you do decide to write a letter to yourself, be loving and kind. Do not beat yourself up. Look for understanding. You were a child. One of the worst things we can do, and trust me, I can still find myself falling into this, is to beat ourselves up for things other people did to us. For example, if you were screamed at as a child and you were told that you were no good, that voice is probably still inside you. So you could yell at yourself on a daily basis and put yourself down because you believe nothing you do is good enough. And many times we're not even conscious of what we're doing. And one of the reasons, if you watch any of my videos, I talk about meditation, like meditation and journaling, which is a form of meditation. I talk about doing it over and over again, because what that does is that helps bring all that noise down in your subconscious. It starts to bring it up into your consciousness, and you can start to hear how you talk to yourself and how you're treating yourself. And then that way you can work on releasing it and healing. That voice was planted inside of us, and it's not us. That's the person that made you feel that way. As an adult, it's important for us to separate ourselves from the voices of our past. And a great way to start is to find out who's inside you putting you down or making you feel less than. I guarantee you, it's the echoes of an authoritative figure from your past. That person can't do anything to you anymore. So wait until you find out who's in there. And then you can work on releasing it back to your past and sort of vomiting out that person that's just looping inside of you. If you find this difficult to do, I highly recommend you find a trained professional. Opening yourself up to the truth of your past can be a little jarring for some people. It can be extremely jarring for others. It can even be re-traumatizing. You have to be very careful when you start going inside yourself. So this can be a long process. So please be good to yourself. Now, third, make friends with your body. Where do you feel in your body? In your throat, jaw, chest, hands? I find I hold emotion in my solar plexus and my stomach areas. It's no wonder I've had digestive issues for decades. Write down the physical sensation in as much detail as you can, and then try to go into that place and write from there. Your body can guide you. Look, this is extremely hard, if not almost impossible for me to do. So some of you will find this challenging. I used to have body workers ask me all the time where I felt something, and I would say, like, my stomach. I mean, and I would be guessing sometimes, but then they would ask, what shape is it? What color? How does it smell? And I'd be like, F you, I have no idea. So if you find this difficult, just try to have fun with it. There are no right or wrong answers. And the more you try to understand your sensations, the better you'll get at it. So is there a hairy gremlin in your stomach eating away at your intestines? A boulder from Mount Everest sitting in your jaw? Spending time learning to understand how you feel will help you in all parts of your life. It'll help you learn what you like and don't like. So fourth, name what wasn't allowed. Write about the moments when you were told to shrink. When you heard things like, you're overreacting, or don't be so emotional, or the one I got all the time, don't be so sensitive. As a side note, if you were told over and over that you were too sensitive, you might want to research the highly sensitive person, or HSP. It's an actual personality type. Empaths are HSPs. And if you were told you were too emotional growing up, you're most likely an HSP, along with 15 to 20% of the population. So write about being told to be less than. How did you feel then? And how does that make you feel now? Fifth, take care of yourself. If the feelings coming out are intense end your writing session with a grounding ritual, something that brings you back to the present and your body. Some things you can do are step outside and feel the sun or the wind, drink water and notice the temperature of it, wash your hands and feel the soap and the water, light a candle and watch it flicker. Breathe deeply. Remember to remind yourself that you're safe and you are allowed to feel. This is how you heal. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you'll subscribe and stay connected with me here at Hearth Writes. We often talk about healing through creativity, the writing life after 40, and what it really means to reclaim your voice. The world needs your story, so keep writing and drop a comment if you'd like to share something. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again.